Hello my people, as I had earlier promised, today I'm going to take you through React router forms, and they are a nice way of handling your forms under the hood. So they work with a function known as action. So let's see what you're going to build so that you are able to learn from what I'm just going to show you. So let's preview the app we're going to build. So we just have simple navigation. Already I've set up the routing and a simple service for handling our posts, creating a post, deleting a post, editing a post, and what have you. So I'm just focusing on the functionality, not how the site will look. So this one is for going back to the home page, and this one is for adding adding a post. So you click on this add post, it will navigate you to add, which is a page for adding a new post. So let's just say post 1. Then we can pick some lorem. Okay, just assume some small text. So going by this, we just paste that lorem there, then submit. So once we submit, you'll see we'll be navigated back to the home page, and we'll see a post with the title and a picture. So if we click on edit, we are able to see it here. So if we edit, then we submit. Okay, something is not working, so we'll fix that in the tutorial. So if I click on delete, it should be able to delete that post. So yeah, so even the delete itself is working with using the form. If I just submit, add another one, post 2, paste. We have 2 posts now. Add another post, post 3, paste that. Add a post 4, paste, so that we just have so many posts. Post 5 and submit. So you can see we already have like 5 posts with different images. So let's see what we have in the code. So here we just have I have a set of components for an input, some hooks for state management. So this one obtains everything from my state service, and I'm able to retrieve them via this hook. So I have a page for adding a post, deleting a post, editing a post, and root, which wraps everything using that navigation, and the home page for just displaying the posts. So this delete does not work here. So you can see I'm using the use app state hook to get the posts, which is of the post entity. Here I just have a setup of the service that is able to delete, retrieve post, then delete here, add a new post. Then you have this sync for setting everything to the local storage, so that we have everything in sync even if we have our app refreshed. So today I'm not using context, so let's see what's going on here. This way now I've defined my routes. They're just like 1, 2, 3 routes. So first one is for home page. We have the add page, edit page, and one for destroying, which is deleting the application, the post. So let's see how our pages are laid out. So you can see we have a post. Okay, we have a post element here. Then we have an action below, Then I'm just assigning these to post so that when I get to the other side, I'm able to access it as an object, because a function in JavaScript is an object which can be assigned properties. So I'm just assigning an action property to the add post function object. For delete is quite unique because there is no JSX element or React component. We just have an action which we export, and is the one we're going to use to delete our form. So our form. So let's see. In the home page, as I had said, we just have this. If there's no post, then we just show there's no post, and the root element is for just wrapping the whole application. So enough with the talking. So let's start with the add post. So for you to understand, I'm just going to remove this. I'm just going to remove everything so that we start from somewhere as we head somewhere. So also in the delete, we are just going to remove all this. Let's just set this to be a simple function that returns an object. Then we can comment this one out so that we don't break the code. We have edit here, and yeah. So if this won't work, well, let's just remove everything. Initially I talked about the loader, so I'm just going to leave my loader as it is. Then this one will also be just a simple function. So if you want to cheat a bit, you can come here to let's say, for you to know what's expected of your function, you just come here and try to instantiate. Then you just say like props, then you can hover and see we have action arguments. Okay, so we have action arguments. So these are some of the props that we are going to pick, and we have like context, request, and params. These we are going to use as time goes by. So you can define them here or just define them as add post dot action. Okay, if we go to our app, everything is still working. If you go to add post, there's nothing. So let's start from there. If you're working with the form, then we want to be using the native form, so we'll have to import form from React Router DOM. Okay, so once you have that form, then we can just instantiate it down here below. Okay, then something to say about the forms is that it works with uncontrolled component. So you won't have like a state for your component. We'll be pushing everything via the form, and we'll be using form data to retrieve this information. So we need to define some things here, like so if we say action, we don't need to specify. If we leave it as at that, and specify here the method to be post. Okay, we set the method to be post. What this does is to change the current request of the page to a post request. So if you don't have anything set up for this, then your form will misbehave. because the browser, how it's structured is to handle only get request, but if you change a method to post, that the form is the one which is going to behave as a link, but in a different way make it a post request. So that's what makes this form different. So let's just, I have some input elements here, so I'll just use them. So just specify the name to be title, and then ID will be title, then default value will be just empty string. I have to duplicate this, so I have this, it's custom, so I'll just say here type should be text, then this one type will be text area, then I can specify columns to be maybe 20. Okay, then we can have some labels, label to be post label, then we can have our label to be post body. So once we have this set up, I'll just style the form a bit. Class name max width to be maybe 30 rem with a padding of 10. Okay, I have some wrong things here, so you can just say mx auto to center it, then we give it a shadow and a small border, then we can margin it 10. So don't worry about how it looks, maybe we can just have h1 of create new post and make it class name text for XL, font bold, and maybe py of 4. So what are we missing? A button to submit, a button submit, then we can say submit new post, then we can just make it text white, font bold, and we just say a background of blue around 600, then px of 4, py of 2. So our form should also be flex call gap of 4, so just to give everything its spacing. So there we have our form. Okay, so we can have a placeholder to be body text, then we can have a placeholder to be title. Okay, so that's done. So let's see if we come to our console and check here, say hello somebody, then we submit. You will see we get an error. So for 5 method not allowed, this I haven't defined any error handler element, so I will just leave it as that, because a post request is not allowed in a page. So we need to tweak this so that React Router DOM can handle this post request for us. So that's where now, once we've defined this, then now we need to define what's known as an action. So an action is just like an event that is triggered when that form is submitted to pick the values that the form has submitted, so that we can use them to do other things. So what we'll do here, object, we'll just say const action is equals to async, say action, okay, do we have action argument, action args, action function args. So action, it's not working because this is not complete. So action function args. So from here we can be able to pick request, okay, and from here what we're able to obtain from here is like we have params. These are now the chunks of your URL, like the ID, colon post ID, something of that sort. So if you want to, so that one we'll see once we reach the edit post. So for now, let's go with the request. So what we can do is to just check const, we can just log our request. Okay, so once we've defined that, and we said here functions are just objects that can be assigned, so they can be assigned additional properties. So we'll just supply this action. Another way was to export this, then destructure from the export, but I like this is a bit cleaner because you export one object with everything. So when we come to our router, then it's in the add post. So if we check add post action, it's already here. So it's an action argument returning promise, which is a void. So we can just let's now try to post something. Post for maybe 6 some text. Okay, if we submit, then you'll see something of this kind. Okay, so let's see how to fix that. Let's just remove this action, then return it, and that say hi. If you submit, okay, then we just return maybe an empty object. So say hi, submit. So one thing that you have to understand here, when you have an action, you need to return something. If you don't return anything, then that means it will not be like handling that method. So that's why it was giving us the, if I just remove it, if I remove this part, then try to submit. Now it's just loaded. Let's say hi there. If we submit, it will give us this. Okay, so it's already you defined an action for route that didn't give any return action for that action, so we need to return something. So if we just return something there, submit, say title 6, say hello best, then if we submit, we'll get a request here. So if we check on this request body, you can see we have a body which is a readable stream, we have headers which are not defined, signal and water view. So we want to go to this. What we'll do here, to pick data from this request, we'll just say const maybe form data will be await. So we have to await request dot form data. So this is the way you are able to retrieve that information from the request object. Then if we can just log our form data. So if we send it again, just send this. Let me just refresh. Title 6, say hello, submit. Then you'll see we have something of this kind. So how do we retrieve information from this form data? Okay, as we are defined here, name and what have you. So this is title, and this one should be the body. So name here should change to body, so that when we submit, hello 3, say hi, so we can see that. So this won't retrieve the information. So what we need to do, we can use the JavaScript inbuilt object, which is object dot. So we can get properties from this form data. Then we can just say from entries, then we pass our form data there. Then if now we submit again, hello hi. If we submit now, you can see we're able to obtain the title and the body, which is hi. So what have we just achieved here? We are able to submit this form. That's why I said it's unhandled, so we don't have to write any state like const state is equals to what. So we just let the React Router DOM to handle the form for us. So what we do here is we can just say const new post is equals to post service dot add post. So we can add a new post, which is form data. Okay, so we can't pass form data directly. That's why you now use to object dot from entries, which will now give get that form data. Object dot entries form data. So we just cast this to a post entity. So as any unknown. Yep, so we cast it to unknown, then we can just log what we get here to new post. Okay, so let's try it out. We refresh, say if we go back to home, we can see we have post 5. So let's add post 6. add post, post 6, pick our lorem, copy, paste here, then submit. So if we submit, you'll see it's a promise which has been fulfilled, and this is the result that we've obtained: the body, ID, image, and title. So we can see we have post 6. So why do we remain in this page? So because it has been successful, then now what we need to do, we just return and redirect. Okay, so redirect will import from React Router DOM. Okay, then we can redirect now to the home page. Okay, so we don't need this log, console.log now, and yeah, we can just work with the redirect. So we can await this because we are not returning that anything, so we just await it, and then we go back home, add a post, say post 7, then we paste that again. If we submit, okay, so we didn't refresh this. Let's see if everything has been submitted. We've reached post 7, so let's add another post, post 8, paste, submit. Then now you can see immediately the promise has been fulfilled, will be redirected to our home page. So this is now the essence of using the React form. So you don't handle the form using any state. Every other functionality you can just handle within this function, which maybe you could have been using Axios to perform on submit and something of that kind. So that does it for the add. So let's go to the edit. For the edit part, we just have like it's just the same implementation, but what I just want to show you is let me just pick okay, the header. From the add post, I just want to pick this one and replace with the edit. Okay, where is it? So okay, so there it is. So another thing I just want to show you here before we go, the edit will just work the same as the add post. So let me demonstrate how now you can use that form to delete something from your application. So as you can see down here, I have a form with a method known as post and an action to destroy. So this action, what it means, from the current page where I am, this page, if I say destroy, that means it will add to the current URL a chunk which is known as destroy, and this will be a post request. So if we go there, nothing happens. But when you want to delete something, okay, when you want to delete something, we don't need to display anything, so it's just an empty form. So that's why I defined a component known as delete. Then I just defined an action here. Okay, so let me just uncomment and show you how it works. So it's called action function args. Okay, so this does, I can pick parameters from the action arguments. Then so when I set this delete, I come to the router, define a URL for the destroy, which is this one. Then I just define an action. The reason why I define it like this without an element is because when you fire this action, it will call the action without displaying the page, and within the action will redirect after achieving or whichever goal we wanted to achieve within the action. So that's why this action will just trigger, and after triggering it will delete that post. After deleting that post, then it will redirect us. So back to here, you can see we are picking this argument, this post ID, and where do we get that post ID? It's from this portion. Okay, so then in the delete we are just get that post ID, and using this custom service that I had built, we are able to pass this ID. If it's there, then we will delete it. After deleting that post, then we redirect. So let's see how that will work. So let's say I want to delete post 8. If I click on edit, this delete, let me just make it, so I'm deleting from the edit page because my definition is through here, so it will add a destroy on this, so that's why it's essential for me to delete it from this part. Okay, so when I just, let me just add something here, bg red 500 text white padding of 4. So if we have that, it looks weird, but don't worry about the UI. mx out. Okay, m7 just. So when we click, it will get that post. After getting that post, we'll pass an ID to this point. Then if I just click, so this is the one we are getting, you can see it matches up here. So then we can just log, you see how it's working, deleting ID, then that ID will be post ID. So if I click delete, you'll see post 8 is gone. Okay, and this is the response, which tells us success. So that's how you can use this form to delete elements. So I guess you can use it to do a lot of things, and for now I didn't want to cover so much. There's one hook which is left, which is known as use submit, which you use for let's say, for instance, if I come to Google and you start searching for happy new year 2023, so this form is being submitted as you type. So that's where now we can use the use submit hook, and I guess in the next tutorial I'll be able to show you how the use submit hook is used when we'll be using it to search for elements in the one we've just built today. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you find time, please like and subscribe for me to continue creating such kind of content for the benefit. So if you'd like to get this code, I'll link up the GitHub repo for it in the description so that you can also follow along. Thank you and Happy New Year.